What's up, good people? Welcome to another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. I am your host and your mental hygienist, Martina Sellers. Don't even know how to pronounce my own last name. Coming to you live from Southern California, where the weather is beautiful. We're praying for everyone on the East Coast who's dealing with all those storms moving up and down the coast. Hope you guys are well. Listen, give a shout out and let us know that you're out there today. How is everyone doing? We pray that all is well with you. And we are so glad that you have chosen to join us on today for another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. In this pandemic, we want to bring you hope. My mantra is this: speak up, speak out, and live. We don't want you to continue to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want to help dispel the myth when it comes to mental health services and what that looks like, especially for our communities of color, Black and brown men and women everywhere. So again, let us know you are out there. Hope that you are enjoying everything that's going on. And this has been an amazing series. We are so glad about it. And if you are just joining us now for the first time on this series of Letters to Our Brothers, you have been missing it. We have had some amazing men from all walks of life, some amazing Black men of all walks of life sharing with us their stories. Curtis, good to see that you're live. Tony, how are you? Good evening. Listen, like and share this. Get this message out to everyone. Katie, how are you? That's Katie Mahoney. I have just a small suspicion that Mahoney, there might be a little bit of a relationship right there and everything. But we are so glad that you are joining us. And we want to offer our prayers out to everything that's happening in Lebanon right now. Our hearts and prayers go out to you through that devastation. We know and just trust and believe that you are going to definitely bounce back and recover from that. But let me share this with you as well. Please, y'all, we have to use wisdom. We have to be safe in the midst of this COVID pandemic. I know that we are on COVID fatigue right now, and we did not even anticipate that this was going to last this long. But listen, be encouraged. Wear your mask. As a COVID survivor and one who was down the whole month of July being sick, we want you to use wisdom. Get your mask. I have tons of them out here. Get your mask, use wisdom, and wear this mask. It is about your safety, your health, and wellness. But enough of that being said, let's jump back onto our subject tonight, being this amazing book, Letters to Our Brothers, 44 Black men speaking to give you encouragement, to give you hope, and to empower you for what is coming ahead in our future. So before I bring on our co-host, Mr. Jason T. Mahoney, I want you to check this out. Shout out to Rain Publishing Company, who is going to be also publishing my upcoming book coming out in October. Stop the Stinking Thinking. So we wanted to, if you have not purchased that book yet, Letters to Our Brother, please look on Amazon, look on those other places that you can get this amazing book, because it's definitely one that you want to be a blessing and give to all the men in your life, because it is doing just that. I know my family has purchased almost 10 copies ourselves. We're giving them out as gifts because we want to make a difference in the lives of our men, because too often we've had negative images about men, especially Black men and men of color, but we want to help to stop that negative stigma and speak life into our men. So listen, if you're just now joining us, listen, please like and share and get every man that you know of, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your husband, your boyfriend, that other one that no one else is supposed to know about. Definitely let us know what is going on so that we can be a blessing to you. So without any further ado, I want to bring on my co-host who has been with me from day one in this whole Letters to Our Brothers, the original, the one and only Jason T. Mahoney, the motivator,
What's
aka
going on? Mafia.
Listen, You don't even have
go
a ring
ahead.
on yet. Where if you bring out that ring, we all running.
And every time I come on the show, I will look in my jewelry box and I'm like, let me see, should I wear my class ring? I don't know if I can fit it anymore, but I'm gonna do that just for the fun of it one day, just for the fun of it.
You might get scared all of our. See, each week I've been asking the brothers on here, is there any truth to the rumors? I think you paid the brothers last week.
I think what it is, though, is that motivation piece, because I'll see the gift in someone and I'm going to push it out. It's kind of like, they're going into labor and they want to stop it. I'm like, nah, you're not about to stop. This baby's about to come. There's no stopping.
You're a male birthing coach.
Male birthing coach, motivator, whatever gift you have inside of you, if you encounter me, it's going to come out.
It's got to come out.
It's got to come out.
It's got to come out. It's got to come out. Listen, Jason, so glad and thank you for this amazing book that is really changing lives. And we're having these amazing dialogues week after week after week. And you've brought on some amazing men on this, young, middle age, my age. Don't you say anything. That's wisdom, because they're going to watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Well, we know you're 23. We know you're 23, so we'll go with
that. Listen, I won't be 23 anymore. Those were some rough years. You could have all them 20s. Life didn't get better till I hit 30.
Got you. Okay, well, 35. We'll give you 30. We'll give you 35.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. 35. I'll take that. Yes. Again, for those of you who are joining us for the very, very first time, tell us your motivation behind Letters to Our Brothers and what this has been, how it has impacted your life.
Absolutely. So the motivation behind Letters to Our Brothers, I was making some career decisions in my life and was just going through some other things. And I made a decision to travel to my hometown, Sumter, South Carolina, and spend the weekend with my parents. And so while I was there, my mom was like, hey, I need you to get your stuff out of our house. And so, because she was like, you've been gone for almost 20 years, so get the stuff out the house. It's time. And so I went to the storage unit and I just started going through some things, throwing away some things. And I came across this letter that my childhood pastor wrote me that I never opened. And so I just opened the letter that day, and it was a very simplistic letter, but the words were so powerful. It gave me the oomph and that push to do what I need to do. And so as I began to walk in that change and walk what I needed to walk on based on from that letter, I said to myself, and I had a conversation with God, if a letter from a Black man to a Black man could empower me, how powerful would it be for Black men from all walks of life, all generation, all historical, all those things, to write letters to other Black men. And so I reached out, I did a call, and so 44 Black men answered the call, including myself, and we actually penned this book, Letters to Our Brothers, and we released it in October. By November, it was a bestseller. Wow. And you have titles in the book such as, adorn your sleeve, and don't forget your charge, and the list goes on, and all the titles are to empower and encourage other Black men. And I wrote from the perspective of recess is over, and I talked about the fact that we have to stop playing because life is serious, and life is serious for us as Black men. So we have to get off the sliding board. We have to stop having joy going down, climbing up, and the only joy that we have is when we slide down. So it gave you the analogy of being on a playground and saying you have to stop that. Get off the merry-go-round because life is too short to keep going around and around and around. And so just talked about that. So there's so many different titles in the book, but it's really impactful to let other Black men know that you're not in this struggle alone. All of us are working together to change our narrative to be that better narrative that what we want to do.
That's excellent. And I love how you talk about how the power of words, the power of words can and speak life and death. Yes. And we choose to speak life over our families, choose to speak life over everything. Keith, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. I know your age. Don't make me, Christian, watch your mouth. Don't make me have to tell all y'all stuff. Listen. They're gonna want to look this good at 35. I ain't playing with that. Wisdom. But listen, Jason, you have some powerful people on here. with that, and I love it. Recess is over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a child, I thought as a child, you know, an actor.
Exactly.
But when I became a man, I
Exactly.
put away childish things. I came off the playground and I grabbed my corporate bag. I came off the playground and I put on my uniform. I came off the program and took care of business.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's time for us who may still be on the playground, get off. And the thing is about recess, that there's a time and place for recess. You know, when we were in school, the bell would ring and, you know, we would go out and play, and then the bell would ring again and we will get back in session. But unfortunately,
too many,
the bell has rung, and too many of us are still on the playground. And that is why we're in the situation we're in today, because we're playing, you know, we're still on the sliding board. And with the sliding board, the analogists say, you know, we climb up to the top, but then we only find delight when we slide back down. So what that says is that you don't do all that to get to the top and then only find joy and excitement to see other people come down. Talked about, you know, the swing set. When you're on the swing set on the playground, you're sitting there waiting, and you can try to push yourself to go higher, but somebody else has to come and push you. And so you're sitting there waiting for somebody to push you. We need to really push yourself. And so I use or even the monkey bars,
legs moving.
Right. And even with the monkey bars, you know, we keep swinging from here to here, but you have to make it be stable in your decision making and stop swinging from here to there. And so the bell has rung, and we need to stop playing. It's wrong. You know, COVID-19 is here. It's impacting African-American men. You know, George Floyd, and the litany can go on.
On.
Yeah, the bell is wrong. It's already it's wrong. The bell rung in 1619.
Yes.
Okay, when we first came. And so, yeah, we have to get off the playground. And that's what my whole premise was about. Recess is over.
I love it. And especially the climb is hard, but the slide is even. It's slippery for a reason.
Exactly.
It is, and too many of us have gotten caught up and have fallen or slipped down that slope to start all over. I was telling someone just the other day, said, when do we get tired of starting all over and always having to rebuild with that? And when we're talking about wealth, that I'm trying to leave a legacy for my children so that we can stop this negative cycle of always having to. Most of us can't even build at ground level. Most of us are building ourselves first out of the pit just to get status quo in order to move forward. And we have to stop that negative stinking thinking. Come on, somebody. And get those toxic thoughts, because it's taking up too much mental real estate in our mind. Listen, I'm tired of living next to the dump. I'm trying to go to be up in Beverly Hills, Pacific Palisades, in the gated community. When I walk out my door, I'm overlooking the ocean. Come on, because not everybody can get into that community. I had to work to get there. Yes,
exactly. And you said you had to work to get there. You put the time in. You do what you have to do to get there, and that goes back to getting off the playground. Because see, when you get off the playground, that's when you go into the classroom to learn. You go into the classroom to feed your mind. You go into the classroom to do this exercising. And until we make a decision to get off of the playground, we're going to continue to be in the sandbox, building on a sinking foundation. So we have to make a decision to remove ourselves from that. But you said something earlier when we talked about words. And about words have power. And when we were young, when people would say stuff to us, we would say that little cliche, stick and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. But the reality of it is words do hurt, because words have power.
And words linger.
Absolutely.
Thought process. I was sharing with someone just today. I said, how do we get those negative words from our parents who did not speak life into us, to have them now get that out of our minds? So Keith says, what are the penalties or repercussions of staying on the playground? Ooh, too long. Ooh, Keith, you trying to pull some stuff out of us today. You all right. Here. Yes. Well, what are the repercussions of that? What do you think?
So I'm going to say this: you will be left behind. You will be left behind, because everybody else is now in the classroom and they're learning and they're being promoted to the next grade. But you're still there 20 years old in kindergarten playing with the 5-year-olds, and your class is already graduated and moved on.
And you better be careful, because you don't want to be labeled. If you're doing that, we we call that developmental delayed. Now, the
Mhm.
old school in our community, we call them that's retarded.
Right,
But that's
right.
not politically correct
Exactly.
with that. But and you better be careful because we don't want to be labeled you as a pedophile. In other words,
Exactly.
yeah. You're supposed to be playing with the grown folk and age
Right.
appropriate folk, but you still
Exactly.
don't child. We got to move on, Jason. Let's bring on our first guest. Tell us about Mr. Devin Johnson.
Gotcha. So I have known Devin my entire life. Devin and I are actually cousins. He's doing some really big things. He's a student at UNC Chapel Hill. I'm super proud of this young brother and just doing his thing. He knows business, comes from a good family. Just a brother that I'm proud to say I know him, grew up with him,
So
and
the
you
truth
know
is going to come
the
out.
bloodline. So I'm curious to see what Devin is going to say. Devin is very politically correct. No matter what you ask him, it's
This
always
is not a politically correct show.
because we're black men talking about mental health. So that's unheard of. So yeah, but Devin's PC. Devin's PC.
We'll see. So without any further ado, y'all give him a wonderful, warm welcome to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, Mr. Devin Johnson. Hey,
hello. How's everyone doing this afternoon, this evening?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Before I even get onto your stuff here, the question is, I don't know if you've been watching us these past few weeks, but you're gonna have to help get on the right side of things.
Okay.
Jason has been labeled, AKA Mafia, because so many brothers said they did not have a choice in this, but they were forced, strong arm. He likes to say encouraged. I will say, so in your role in this book, did the Mafia Jason come out or the motivator?
His cousin came out. Go ahead, Devin.
The Mafia came out.
I told you.
The Mafia came out. And I have to give Jason all the credit. Like, literally, I was applying for grad school. A lot was going on, and some things slipped through the cracks. But Jason strong-armed me and said, Devin, you said you were going to write for this book. Now, you're going to do what you said, or there will be repercussions.
Right.
But, he was right. He was right. I'm glad I did it. And the book has definitely, taken off and been big for everyone that's involved. So, big ups to Jason. And thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Yes, excellent. Before Jason takes off with some of your questions, Devin, tell us the title of your portion of it and why you chose that title to speak to men.
Yeah. So mine talks about how you see yourself every time you look at yourself in the mirror. And I chose that as because we all wake up in the morning, we go in the bathroom, we brush our teeth. We always have to take a look at ourselves. But I want us to always take a look at ourselves and remind ourselves who we really are. That, before we go out into the world may say this or that about us. It may be negative, it may be positive, but you have to know who you are on the inside. And you have to remind yourself daily of who you are, where you came from, and where you're going.
Yes, that's good. With that, Jason, I know you got a litany of questions for cousin in his role.
Why Devin? I didn't have questions.
Why Devin? What brought you to encourage or strong arm or mafia man him into the book?
Or just pick up the phone and ask my cousin that he want to be a part of this project.
I don't believe it was that simple.
So Devin is a brother that is about his business. He's a brother that is not easily moved, and when he has his mindset on something, he's going to go towards and accomplish that. And like I say, he's always PC, politically correct, and knows how to handle a crowd from that perspective. So had to be Devin, because I believe that there's some brother that's out there that is trying to find his way to get into breaking down barriers. And again, Devin is at a school that was historically for Caucasians, but Devin is there. And so a brother needs to see Devin to say, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. Excellent. Now go ahead and ask your question. I know
Absolutely.
You have it.
Of course I do. So Devin, it's a lot of things that are going on in today's society regarding the impact of African-American men. why do you think this book is important for such a time as this?
Yeah, I think that and I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but I think it's rare when you see a lot of men of African American descent come together and do something this powerful at one
Right.
time. And I
Right.
think, like, as we share this and as we look to influence others, we need to have that tangible thing that people can go back and look on and say, hey, these guys are doing it. Why can't I do it? I know for me,
Right.
like, I like sharing it with younger generations. I will continue to share it with younger generations. And at some point, I will have to pass the torch. Hopefully that's a long time from now, but it will happen. And when you can look back and see other brothers that are doing it and are doing it in a multitude of ways, I think that speaks volume. I think that encourages another brother to step up to the plate and make it happen as well.
Excellent.
Wow.
That's good. That's good. Especially speaking to our young men today, because let's be honest, there is I believe what we say, a lack of mentors, or even the lack of desire to mentor these young people, especially millennials, because, and I've been guilty of it myself, thinking that they're the instant gratification group and all of that. So they're not going to listen. But oftentimes they just want, first and foremost, their stories to be heard. And we've always been a storytelling culture with that. So what is it, if you're speaking to those millennials, that you find imperative in sharing and reaching out to them today?
Yeah. I think the first key is when you listen to them, just like you said earlier, they really want someone to sound ideas off of, and someone that they know that is trying to meet them where they are.
Right.
And at that time, you listen, and then you try to impart wisdoms and let them know that, you're not the only one going through that. I was a kid at one point too. You may not have been around at that point, but I can speak to some of the things that you're going through, and this is how I handled it. Now I know times have changed and things adjust, but if you can get to the root of it and know what the core is, you can still use some of the things that happened to me to help you get past it and be successful as well.
Right.
So Devin, in regards to something you just said, it kind of triggered something. You talked about like things that you may have gone through and those type of things. So what kept you going? So for example, you could have stopped at high school, you could have stopped at bachelor, you could have stopped at whatever situation you found yourself in life. But what was the thing that propelled you to say, I'm gonna move forward?
Yes, that's good. I'll be honest with you, like my great grandmother, and God bless her soul, she died when I was around 10 years old. And I can just remember she used to get me off of the bus, and I was in first, second grade, and we would come home, and I had to do homework right away. It was no like in between. And one day I had a question, and she couldn't answer it, and then she told me, she's like, "Baby, I can't read." They grew up during that time when education wasn't.
Right.
It was either you survived and you had to work, or you got an education.
Right.
And I always remember that. And I made her a promise that one day I'll get a degree for me and you, and I'll pass it on. And one day I woke up and I said, I never did what I needed to do, or what I told my grandmother I was going to do.
Yeah.
So it lit a fire in me. I said, it's time for me to get up. Let me stop playing around and get it done. So that was one factor. And then two, I always try to surround myself with good people who are going places, who are trying to do something. And I had a good buddy and a good friend of mine that was going to grad school, getting his MBA as well. And he was just like, man, let's come together. Let's get some business ideas, or let me introduce you to some people that I know. And then, it kind of just lit a fire, and it keeps going on and on and on. So I don't plan on stopping. This is just the beginning for me.
Come on.
Wow.
I want to do this thing and do it big.
Yes.
Wow.
That's so powerful about, is especially many of us, when we are getting our degrees, it's just not for us. It is for our grandparents and all that.
Exactly.
My grandmother, God rest her soul and everything, Lucille Sellers, baby. Let me tell you something about Lucy. Lucy had a third grade education, but she could read every word in that Bible and every word on that newspaper. Now, she may not have been reading everything else, but she could read that. And she was an amazing cook who always encouraged us to push and go farther. So you're right. When I remember she was at my college graduation and flew from Ohio to Oakland to Berkeley to see me graduate in that. And that was one of her proud moments, because I then knew both of my parents were there, my grandmother, both my grandmothers. And so with that, it was such a great moment, because I knew that this was not just for me, but for everyone, all of our family as well, to lead the way for the rest of them as well. I love that story, Devin. Definitely.
Absolutely. Powerful. And when you talked about your grandmother, I guess in today's society, a lot of family systems are not as tight as they once were. So, for example, you said you got off the bus and you went to grandma's house and you sat at the table. So a lot of us older people, or older generation, not Marty because he's only 23, but a lot of us can relate to what Devin is saying in regards to that family system. But I present the question, Marty, why is it that the family system that we used to have, why has it kind of torn and broken? I mean, when you think about it, like,
that's a systemic question. That's a whole nother show.
Right. But when you think about it, so Devin talked about his grandmother, getting off the bus and she couldn't read but she was, but he was there, and those things, that particular nature. So when we think about it from that particular perspective, Devin had a family system. He had a relationship with his grandmother, and et cetera, et cetera. But what has happened to where grandmas and granddads are not the daycare providers? Yes. What has happened when, older sister, older brother is not available to do that? So what has happened to our family systems in the African American community today? Why those are not our stories anymore?
I think we're trying to piece those together as we became more grew socioeconomically. It did create some separation. Then systemically, we couldn't have all those people in our homes because we could not qualify for certain programs at that point in time. That pushed the fathers out of the homes. And we're looking at the late 60s and 70s, and then we're bouncing back from all of those things. So great question, with that. But I believe that this pandemic has forced us to look at those relationships once again, so that we can restore the family unit and help to redefine who and what our family is in that regard. Wow, powerful story with that. Shout out to Brother Devin. We're going to have him back at the end of our show and everything as well, to and our final panel discussion with that. Our next person that you have is Mr. Evan Augustus, right?
Yes,
let's bring Brother Augustus and give him a warm welcome to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show. Yes. Hey, my brother, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain for a Thursday out here in Cali. They treating you well out there?
Yeah, it's a little raining today. But...
Rain? Well, like they say, it never rains in Southern California. With
I can see.
And you're correct, because every time I've spoken to you, it's never rained. I mean, it can be storming here, but each time we look at your background, we see the beach.
Yes,
we see water, palm trees. So I still want to grow up to be like Marty at 35. So I'm still pressing toward that mark to grow up, to be able to look out my back window and see palm trees.
Don't let Jason's smooth talk. Mafia people can. So this is my question I asked. So in here, did you get Jason the Mafia or Jason the Motivator when he asked you and approached you about this book?
Well, at first I got the Mafia. I don't know if you can see my little scar right here from the knife.
I hear you. Right.
With a knife, but no. I was scared at first.
Okay.
And then the motivator came out.
Yes.
And so he he was like, it'll be a good cause. You inspire a lot of people. So I said,
Yeah.
well, I'll definitely put my mark in the book.
That's right. That's right. Tell us the name of your particular chapter in that and what inspired you to call it that when you were writing this.
Mine is called Your Power, Your Worth. And what inspired me to do that was because a lot of people today don't feel that they have the power to do stuff or to start something.
Right.
And I know that same year I went out. I do a lot of community service.
Okay.
So I had went out, was walking the neighborhood and talking to some of the youth, and we approached these 4 young men, and they were like, we were like, what are your plans after high school? And they was like, well, we just gonna work at McDonald's, or work at the grocery store. And they even said they didn't want to finish high school.
Right.
And so I was like, well, why do you want to pick that as like the end all be all?
Right.
And it's like, well, that's all we have, We have McDonald's and we don't like school. And so it baffled me that that's all they thought they could do. So I felt like they need someone or something to help motivate them, to get them on the path to do more with themselves.
Yes.
Not saying that working at McDonald's or the grocery store will stop them from getting what they want, but just to see that that's what all they wanted to do, and that bothered me.
Yes.
And Evan, when you talk about the title of it, your power, your worth and your value, etc. So many times we think that we're not powerful because something that we went through in life took our power from us, or we felt that it took our power from us. And then when we begin to act in that, we begin to not even value ourselves and not even worth ourselves. What do you think are some of the things that has taken the power away from individuals, or the perceived removal of the power? So why do people think that they don't have any power anymore?
That's good.
Well, I'll say one thing is their family. I think it was mentioned earlier that some families don't give them that light that they need to do more in life. Another thing is their association. Who you hang around definitely plays a part in that too. And then I feel like when you don't have those two things, your family, who should be like your backbone, and then your associates who you're associated with, if they don't push you, then you're just going to remain stagnant.
So I'm going to ask this question. I hope it's a good question. As I said, everyone has been through a situation where we felt that our power was taken away from us. How did you get your power back from whatever situation you were taken when it was taken from you? How did you get your power back?
I had to take action. I'll give my example. I felt like with a family member, I'm not going to say who or whatever. They always told me no, and no, I couldn't do this, or no, I couldn't do that, and so that went on for years. And finally, I was like, well, I don't want to stay in this space. I don't want to stay in the same spot. So I had to do the work. I had to put my stuff in order in order to get where I need to be. So it had to start with me to get to where I want to be today.
Evan, I love that because
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying, did you hear what he said? He said, I got tired of hearing no.
Tired.
Yeah. And then he spoke to himself and said, self. Come on, someone.
Myself.
Self. I got to do something about this.
Right.
And then you said you did the work. You didn't look for anyone else to do the work. You did the work. You encouraged yourself. You did the work. When you failed, you picked yourself back up. You kept trying. Come on, that speaks volumes right there. We have to do the work.
Right.
Men, we have to encourage ourselves, and men, we have to stop allowing no to stop us. For me, no is like, oh, then that means I'm going another way.
And then also, but what he said, I'm sorry, Mark, what he said, which was so good, he did not allow the labels that somebody gave him that he could not do this, he could not do that, he cannot do that, because those were labels that were put on him. But he made a decision to say, I'm not going to wear these labels because that's not who I am. Far too many times people give us labels and then we wear those labels and we make a decision to not go to school. We make a decision to not be a good father. We make a decision to do all these things because somebody gave us a label. But what Evan said was, I made a decision to not wear the label and I disassociated myself with that person. But also it was his family. And we've always heard, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. I tell people all the time that is true, but I can make a decision not to deal with my family. And so even though it is family, if that person has that negativity, you can remove yourself from that person. And Evan, if you don't mind me asking, how hard was that for you to take an exit from that particular family member?
Very hard. It took time for me to heal from having to remove myself from them. And I feel like for me to do that, we're in a better relationship now. Good. Because they see that I'm doing it, I can do it, and I'm doing good things. So
good.
The relationship is much better now. And I think they just need to see that I can do it. And that I'm not going to stop.
Wow. I love it,
and
because
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You all right?
No, and I'm saying, like, if you like you said, you hear a no, just sometimes you got to break that no. You never know what happened.
Right.
You have to take that leap.
You triggered something in me. You took the NO and put a K and in front of it and a W in behind it. And not only did you say no, you said, no, I'm going to know. In other words, I'm going to get the knowledge now. And I'm not going to allow your no to stop me. In fact, I'm going to rewrite that and add my own letters to it. So your no became my knowledge. Your no pushed me to seek knowledge in that. And so now I'm going to know myself because you told me no, you tried to block me with that. Come on, that'll preach something.
That's a whole book right there. That's a book. That's why he got the alphabet behind him. Right. That's a book right there, because they told him no, but because he knew himself.
Come on.
And I think so many times, he had to know himself in order to fight against the negativity that has came up against him. And so I think, again, I got to go back to even historical trauma.
Yes.
All those things that people have gone through. Sometimes we forget who we are, but we got to remember we were shaped in the image of God. And with everything that he's bringing us, then we know ourselves. But again, we cannot allow other people to give us a label and wear those labels.
Yeah, Daryl, can you bring up the comment from Kimberly Green? Says we must know when she was saying that. Yes, let's love that, because as she was speaking to that, it may be way up there. I'm sorry. There we go. It says you must know who you are and must know and know where you are going. I love that. That. So in that, she was talking about that and encouraging. See how you're speaking life into to the viewers tonight, and knowing in that. What message do you want to give the readers when they read your particular section of this book?
I just want them to know that they have power in themselves, and there is power, and you can do anything you want to do. I don't have like a lot of degrees like y'all have.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Yes, it does not matter, because there are so much things you can do. You can get a certificate, you get a certification, and you can go far with it. You never know.
You can.
But as long as you know that you can go places and you're going to succeed, then that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow, Evan, Listen, that was so powerful. Changing that N-O to K-N-O-W.
And I love the declaration that he talks about the no, as long as you know.
Yes.
As long as you know. So that means you can walk into anything you desire as long as you know.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Evan's about to write a book. It's a book. It's gonna call You Know.
I knew the mafia was coming back out.
He's about to write a book. You know.
You know.
Let me call Renee now.
Right.
Go and call Rachel.
Listen, Evan, man, thank you so much. We're gonna put you in our green room. We're gonna pull you back out at the end of the show there as we do some stuff. But man, thank you for that. That was so powerful. Your power, your worth. Love it, man. Love it. Awesome. Thank you. Listen, that was good. Okay, you did all right. Well, come on. You allowing that mafia to kick in. Lord have mercy.
I love it though that I mean that's a statement, that's a declaration. And when you talked about the alphabet, how cool was that so many times? I mean, I think about the people who've been told no so many times and they give up.
Right.
Because it begins to impact their value, their self-worth, because everybody's told me no, why should I even try?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No to me doesn't mean that's a closed door. That means I have to just look another way.
Exactly.
But I'm a little stubborn. But anyway, okay, we got to bring in our third and final guest for tonight, Mr. Corny David. I messed up because I'm trying to pronounce his last name properly. So David Cornegay. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay, hey, I'm all right. So let's bring to the stage and give a warm Mental Health Matters with Marty, Mr. David Cornegay, as he comes up on here tonight. Yes. There, hey there, you with us there, David? Okay, we can't hear you there. Let's get him. So his mic is not working with that. So tell us about David while we try and figure out what's going on with his microphone and everything tonight.
So
and his
David is a powerhouse, a true powerhouse. David tells his personal testimony in the book where he talks about growing up in a time when African American men were not encouraged to go to school. Growing up in a time where the 50s, 60s, 70s, all those things, where it was not a lot of opportunities. And so he made a decision to go to school. And while in school, challenges came just like all of us pretty much go through those particular things. And so David propelled himself, retired had a really good retirement in state government, where he worked with African-American boys and just, in juvenile, and really helped propel the future for those young people. David Cornegay is a powerful house in Wake County in the state of North Carolina.
Yes. Tell us about his whole section in there. We're having some technical difficulties with David, but this is what we're going to do. We are going to definitely have David come out on another episode with that, because we never want to his story is too powerful with that. I know some of the storms and everything been going on back there that's been affecting so many people, but now you're lucky. I'm still going to ask David the $1 million question. Did we have Mafia Jason or motivating? You're gonna go with motivating.
But David has wisdom, so David's gonna say motivation. And again, I always say I don't want to tell somebody's story for them, but David's story was impactful because, again, in his story, he just talked about the challenges of growing up as a young African American male, and matriculating through high school, matriculating through college, and retiring at a high level position in his organization to be able to mentor and encourage other young people. And so his whole platform is, we need to get this book in the prison. We need to get it into DJJ because he's worked in the system and saw the impact of what the system could possibly, what the system does to our young people. And so David's just a powerful brother with a powerful testimony in store from his upbringing.
Wow, that's amazing with that. That is definitely amazing. So let's do this, Jason. Let's bring back on Devin and Evan and talk through this again and move forward with that. Yes. So gentlemen, what has been, now that this book will be out this November, it'll be a full year.
Yep.
Right? wow, this is still hot off the press and all that. What have been some of the comments and everything that you all have been getting for those who have read your particular portions of the book and read the overall book itself? And just jump in there. We don't have any particular order with that. Just jump on in. What have been the responses you have gotten?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it off.
Okay.
A lot of people originally, you know, was just telling me congratulations. But I think the main point that I love to hear about is when they say that, hey, I'm going to share this with my entire family.
Absolutely.
I know a guy that could use this right now. I'm reading this to learn more about my husband or learn more about my son, how I can be a better family member. So just hearing about that, hearing that how it's taken off like wildfire and how people are really have that quest for knowledge to just know about people's stories and then how they can identify with it and learn from it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Definitely. Evan, what have the feedback you've been getting?
Oh, amazing. A lot of my co-workers have purchased the book. They shared it with their kids, their sons, their brothers, their it's been going around. Also, at what was the event called? There was a basketball camp here, and they shared the book there. And actually, maybe like 5 of the parents purchased the book from me there.
Wow!
So it's going pretty good.
Yeah,
and a lot of good feedback. I'll say one parent that purchased the book, her son had committed suicide the same week the book came out.
Wow!
And so I was like, man, if he could have just read the book, he could have got some kind of help.
Wow. And that's something the conversation and Jason and I've had this that we don't talk enough about is suicide within our African American communities. And what is happening is it has increased, and we don't talk about that. It's not publicized nearly as much or anything, and it has gone down to ages as low as 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. And I wish there was a better way to say that, especially for our men. They are more, the terminology is used, successful with completing it and in that regards. But I'm with you, Evan. If we get this book in the hands of our young men to say there is hope, if we get this book in the hands of our young men, say there is encouragement. If we get this book in the hands of our young men to say that, hey, we all have messed up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it because there's not one man in this book who has not said, hey, I made this mistake, but here how I got past it, or this is where I was and this is where I am with that, to breathe that. What a difference this can and will make in the lives of our young men everywhere. Go ahead, Jason.
And Marty, and you're talking, as my grandma would say, you're talking good, because that's really the foundation of this book, is that we want Black men, young brothers, old brothers, wherever you find yourself in life, we want you to see yourself in one of the individuals in this book. Because again, you have, I heard what Evan talked about your power, your value, work, and somebody told him no. I promise you that there's a brother that is listening to us right now on this call. Somebody told them no. And they needed to hear Evan's story to say, I'm going to take my no and turn it into know who I am. And so I think that's where we always say the book, I call it a book of life. Yeah. It really gives life to people, to situations. And I encourage every single mom that has a Black son, purchase this book, read it with him, read it to him, provide it with him so he can find a role. If he doesn't have a role model, let him find a role model in somebody in the book, because he'll be able to say, you know what, that's something I can identify with, and look at where they are now. I can do the same thing.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. As we wrap up, I can't believe it's been almost an hour already with this. As we wrap up, What message, Evan, do you want to leave for? I love that you love working with young people. And what message of hope would you want to tell them to encourage them along the way? Because I've lost someone to suicide as well, one of my patients, young Black man, and it hurts. And it still hurts me to this day. But what message do you want to leave with these young men today?
Just don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
It may seem, the road may seem dumb, but there's a light at the end.
Yes.
And also, it's a scripture that encouraged me with this book. Hebrews 10:24, where it says, "Let us consider one another so as to incite," or like the footnote says, or motivate, stir up, to love and find words. Not forsaking our meeting together, as some have custom, but encouraging one another, and all the more so as you see the day drawing near. Because as we see with this COVID-19 and the bombings and just a lot of shootings going on and everything, there's a lot going on. So there's a lot of pressure on the youth and all of us. But all I want to say is just keep going and don't stop. And if you feel like you're about to stop, don't.
Right. That's good. That's good. And before we, how could, if there's a young brother out here watching this today, how could they get a hold of you, Evan?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Evan Augustus.
Okay. Evan Augustus. So listen, young brothers, young people, if you see this and you need someone to talk to or even purchase it, he'll even get you a signed copy of his book. Come on, signed copy. With that, you hear this young man says, listen, it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter. But listen, propel yourself, encourage yourself. Your power, that's it. Your worth. Know your worth. In that, turn that N-O to K-N-O-W. Yes. With that, you can reach out to him at Evan Augustus on Instagram, on Facebook, and I'm sure he would love to chat, talk with you, to encourage you, all of that. Get you a signed copy of the book, send your cash app him, and he'll get it out to you today. With that, yes, man, thank you so much for joining us and being on here and everything. Devin, what message do you want to give to families, to men out there today?
Yeah. I like to echo a lot of what Evan said. I just have one addition to it. Just know that you come from good stock.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, just like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what the world says about you. It's about what you believe about yourself. And it's ingrained in you. If our ancestors can make it,
come on.
Absolutely.
Now you just gotta grit your teeth. It may be hard, but just like Evan said as well, it's light at the end of that tunnel.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's good. Share with us how we can get a signed copy and how can we get a hold of you if we want to reach out to you.
Yeah. So one, I'm on Instagram. I'm at that_dude Devin, D-A-T. That's my unpolitical correct name.
I understand. That, yes.
Because he's always politically correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
but I'm on there. And then you can always find me on Facebook as well, just Devin Johnson. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. So
wonderful.
I'm not hard to find.
You're not hard to find. Devin, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate both of you for what you bring to this amazing book, this life-saving book, this life-changing book in that as well. And as always, Mr. Mafia Man, how can viewers get a hold of you?
So in a perfect world, I would say you can get a hold of me in California with a nice background. But, because it's not raining there, but, come back to my reality.
Yes.
You can actually reach me on Facebook at Jason T. Mahoney, on Instagram, JTM The Motivator, or you can reach me on my webpage at jtmahoney.com. But I definitely encourage you guys to reach out to these brothers, Evan and Devin. purchase a book from them. You can reach out to them. They have copies of the book. So reach out and definitely get a book from these brothers and show these brothers, to let these brothers know that their voice matters and your voice matters too. And so that's really simple. How to reach Jason T. Mahoney.
Excellent, Jason. We appreciate you, man. And looking forward to who you're bringing back with us next week. You have been on a roll so far. Mafia is outweighing the motivator.
So, and since we're switching words and letters around today, if you think about the words in Mafia, you still got some words that you can pull out for motivator. The M is in there, the A is in there, the I is in there. So it's still a motivator. We just motivate you a different perspective. There's not a
reach ain't working. See,
you can't say no to your dream.
Brothers ain't even believe in that reach tonight.
And see, Devin's ready to give a campaign speech right now. See, it's a political speech. See, that's how they do.
You did that, Jason. You did that.
Thank you.
It ain't working.
Devin's gonna give a scripture to go along with it.
It ain't working. Well, as always, y'all, thank you so much. We always want to thank you for joining us here on Mental Health Matters with Marty, as we have been walking through this amazing book, Letters to Our Brothers. You could have chosen many other platforms and many other social media things to join, but you chose this one. Thank you so much. As always, my name is Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist. And I want to encourage you that you can reach me on several different things through our website. And our website is www.mentalhealthmarty.com. And you can also reach us on Facebook under Mental Health Matters with Marty, and on YouTube as Martinez Sellers. Yes, Puerto Rican 3 times removed. But as always, please like and subscribe to our podcast, Mental Health Matters with Marty. And you can see that on all podcast streaming sources. With that, we would love for you on Apple to leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. The latest one just dropped on yesterday, and that is the one with my son and I sharing with you our COVID experience and the mental health that we did experience with that. You can always text I Matter to 31996. Again, I Matter to 31996, as you will get the latest and greatest things that are happening through Mental Health Matters with Marty. And again, we want to thank you again for joining us. Please mark and set your clocks for the same time next week as we bring in yet another edition of Letters to Our Brothers. This has been a very encouraging series with that. But as always, we don't want you to continue to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. Until next week, thank you and God bless. Enjoy your life.